Sitting around the campfire singing songs of yore, playing till my fingers are sore 'cause they always want one more. Yeah, we're sitting around the campfire singing songs of yore, playing till my fingers are sore on the Campfire Troubadour. A good day to you, fine gentlemen and ladies. Thank you for joining me for a wee bit of singing and a wee history lesson. They call me Two Wives, the Campfire Troubadour, singing songs of yore and songs about yore. Welcome to this collection of songs that I routinely sing around the campfire when I'm at rendezvous. Now, the majority of these songs are either songs that were actually popular during the days of the Long Hunter or of the Mountain Men, or they're songs that were either written about that time period or from the perspective of a modern-day reenactor. I list the songwriter if I know who wrote it. If I don't, well, I list someone who recorded it. Now, ever since I was a wee one, I wanted to play guitar and sing real bad. After about 50 years of practice, I've succeeded. I play guitar and sing real bad. Okay, well, maybe not real bad, but not real good either. Once the jug makes its way around the fire a couple times, I sound a whole lot better. What I'm saying is that in following videos, there'll be mistakes in my playing and probably some singing off key every now and again. The purpose of these videos is not to showcase how good I am, which I'm not, but to preserve these old songs and their history. I'm a campfire troubadour, a camp singer, a collector of the oral traditions and the histories of the people that make up our great country. Now, many of us remember our parents or our grandparents humming, whistling, or singing these tunes while working in the fields or while snapping beans or shucking peas on the porch. I remember my mom would occasionally hum some of these tunes while baking. As a fledgling trumpet player way back in elementary school, I couldn't understand why I had to practice some stupid song over and over again that I'd never heard of. And for all I knew, somebody had just made it up just to make me miserable. Now, one time, my mom told me that if I was going to play the song I was playing, least I could do is play it right. And I just kind of looked at her and was like, you mean this is a real song? And then she actually started singing the song, which renewed my interest in practicing it. It was the only time I ever actually heard my mother sing. Now, I was a substitute teacher at my local high school for band class one day, and the class was playing Shenandoah, but they were playing it without any feeling. When asked, none of them had ever heard of the song before their teacher told them that they were going to play it for a concert. Therefore, they didn't really care about the song. I told them the backstory to the song and how old it was. Well, you could see the gears start to turn in their minds as they processed the information. So I told them to go ahead and look the song up on Google or YouTube when they had time and just listen to the beauty of that song. Now, when I substitute taught a few weeks later at that same school, a couple of the kids stopped me in the hallway and thanked me for telling them the history of that song and how it reflected America's history. They said that they began looking up other songs that their band teacher had them play over the last year or so, and they were amazed at the history behind those songs as well. Now, part of why I play all these old songs is, well, because I love them. I love the story of America and the struggles of her people. Another part is to pass on that love of songs to the next generation sitting around the campfire, listening to their elders sing the old songs, as well as discuss the finer points of George Washington's not-so-stellar military career prior to and during the Revolution, or how to flint knap an arrowhead, or how to bake bread in a Dutch oven. Now, some of these songs may be both familiar and unfamiliar at the same time to a lot of you. Being a historian, I research the songs I play, and you'll find some historical facts noted occasionally. Now, it should be noted that many of these songs had different melodies and verses based on the locale and time period. I've added many of these lost verses of these variations back into the songs. And while I often note the song in question was when it was first published, one should remember that the song had to have been around for quite a while, so that it could become popular enough that it was noted in a diary or a newspaper. Now, it's important to note that as far as recordings of these songs, it was very common up until the 1960s. The songs had to be under 3 minutes long or they wouldn't be played. As an example, Johnny Horton's recording of the Battle of New Orleans in 1959 was only 2 minutes and 33 seconds long. Now, that song was originally written by Jimmy Driftwood, who wrote the song to spark the interest of his high school students when teaching a lesson on the War of 1812. The song originally had over 50 verses, of which he usually played about 20 random verses each time he played it in class, so it was never the same twice. So in order to make the under 3 minute time limit, Johnny Horton picked out 4 verses, the chorus and the refrain. This is the version most of us are familiar with today. Now, through research, I've been able to recover another 7 verses to this song. Another example of this song that was made extremely popular in 1964 by the Animals was a song called House of the Rising Sun. This song traces its roots back to a song in the late 1600s called The Unfortunate Rake, which talked about a house of ill repute called the Rising Sun in Lowestoft, England, up in the eastern part of Scotland. In the 1930s, a very recognizable version of the song was recorded under the title Rising Sun Blues. And that's actually the version that I sing, along with some of the older verse added back in. Whenever possible, I've given historical context as a note after the song. Oh, and one other note, some of these songs contain words that are not exactly politically correct in today's day and age. Nevertheless, the songs collected here use the language of the time period they either come from or that they portray. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope you enjoy these songs, either playing them and singing them around a campfire, or when you have time to kill and you look them up on YouTube. Mayhap, you'll even learn a wee bit. Until we meet again, I remain your humble servant, Two Wives, the Campfire Troubadour.